I-30 female, basically raised my siblings since they were born. My mom was neglectful and had many problems and horrible judgment. When I turned 18, I continued living at my mom's place to stay with my siblings while secretly gathering funds together in case anything happened. My grandmother, later on, convinced me to help her report my mom to CPS and promised to take in my two siblings, who were at the time preschoolers, male and female, which she unfortunately didn't follow through on, and blindsided me because she never had the intentions to take in my siblings and only wanted my mom's children to be taken away as payback because my mom owed her a lot of money and put her in tons of debt. To make a long story short, I did everything I could to prove I was a worthy caretaker and was granted custody of my siblings. Now fast forward, my sister, who's now a teen, started speaking to her mom via Facebook. Since then, she's did a total 180, giving me attitude and getting into a lot of trouble. I came to find out that my mom had been talking pure smack about me, which I saw in the messages myself. I made my sister block our mom on social media after I sent her a message telling mom why my sister would no longer be in contact with her. Unfortunately, it resulted in my sister claiming that I was horrible and emotionally abusive to her, and that I should have just kept my mouth shut so she could stay with her mom. I'll be honest, there were a lot of things I could have done better, and many things I would have changed looking back, but I did all I could to raise my siblings. Anyway, I ended up telling my sister, "You going into foster care temporarily was not my fault. It was your neglectful mother, and I could have just left you there." My sister got really upset with that comment and threatened to run away and move in with mom. That would be horrible because mom's still suffering from addiction and new health issues. Since then, sister's been giving me the silent treatment and refusing to eat meals together. Our brother thinks she's overreacting and is mad at her for continuing to speak to our mom, even after she chooses to speak ill of me. I'm just worried and feel like I crossed a line that I never should have crossed. Do you all think I'm an idiot for telling my sister I could have left her in foster care? OP, you did screw up by saying that, but I don't think you meant it maliciously. You were frustrated and had a moment of weakness. Every parent can relate. She's a teen. Her brains and hormones are a mess. She wants her mom. She lashes out at you because you're safe. She knows you'd never abandon her like everyone else. You saying what you said sent the message. You could abandon her too. You need to apologize and repair that. But you know what? You're still not an idiot. You're doing your best, and darn it, that's okay. You all need a crap ton of therapy, but you also need kudos for doing your best to keep your family together. It's time to have a calm and collected conversation with your sister about the person your mother truly is. Explain that you did not remove your siblings from your mother's home. The state did because she wasn't safe or fit to be a parent. At any time, your mother could have gotten her act together and fought for her kids. Explain to your sister that while you understand she wants to be with her mom, legally, you cannot allow her to do that. Your mother lost them due to her problems. I'm so sorry, OP. You are an amazing sibling. They're so lucky to have you. I pray they see it soon. Grandma sounds pretty vile, in my opinion. Taking away your daughter's kids, not for their safety, but as revenge? Because you're not getting money back from an addicted person, plus lying to your grandkid to make it possible. Agreed with not the idiot. Keeping the family together is admirable, and emotions running high is understandable. I hope you'll have a good conversation about it with a therapist. Last night, my girlfriend and I were watching a movie, probably about 11 p.m. Our son, pre-tween, was supposed to be in bed and asleep for a couple of hours by now, but apparently he woke up and walked out to go use the bathroom right when a character loudly said some nasty words. We had the volume lower than normal, but he still heard it. I tried my best to get him back to bed calmly, but he kept asking what it meant. I told him it's a bad word he shouldn't say and that he doesn't need to know what it means. Apparently, that only made him more curious. It's been about a day later, and we've threatened and given as many punishments as possible. Sit in a corner. We'll take your video games. We won't let your friends come over, but he won't stop saying it or asking what it means. Well, me and my girlfriend wanted to go out to eat. Usually we take our son with us. However, we decided that we shouldn't, as he might say it in public, or even to someone, or ask someone what it means. I don't want to deal with that, or have to explain it to someone. I especially don't want to be kicked out of a place because our son is constantly saying obscenities. So for the first time since he was like 2, we got a babysitter. Not a complete stranger, but one of my friends that my son has met many times. I knew he wouldn't be happy, but he just refused to stop inquiring about the new word he just learned. He was very upset about not getting to go to dinner. I told him that we would bring him back food and we wouldn't be gone long, and that our friend would watch a movie with him or play with him, whatever he wanted. He didn't have it. We were only gone for 2 hours, and apparently he sat in his room and pouted the entire time we were gone. He did eventually get bored and come out to watch TV, but he was still visibly upset. Now we're home and we've made some progress. He seems to be mostly over his fascination with the word. Regardless, he's still mad about not getting to go out. I feel like a bit of an idiot, but I don't know. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. This is a perfectly normal, age-appropriate part of his development, and you could not have handled it worse, OP. At that age, they're still learning. They can't pull reasons out their butts. It's your job to teach them. Explain why it's a bad word and what the consequences of saying it may be. All you've done is punish him for being curious and show him that you're ashamed of him learning and exploring a new language. Again, developmentally appropriate for a child of his age. What kind of lesson do you think he got from how you treated him? You cannot punish and isolate a child and refuse to explain why. We aren't born with the ability to understand correlation and causation. It's OP's logic that creates generational trauma. My best friend and I are working on our childhood traumas, and the vast majority are our parents having the mindset of, it's how I was raised, or I had it worse as a kid. Like, great. Did you enjoy it? Did you feel confused, scared, unloved? Do you want your kid to feel that way about you? So many of these parents were abused, many physically, and still say this. It's unresolved trauma that, rather than being dealt with, is passed off onto the next generation as learned behavior. It's extremely tragic, and it pains my soul to hear that kids are still going through this, especially with how easy it is to learn about good and effective parenting via the internet. My 38th female daughter, Melody, is a tween. She goes to an after-school program, which is where she met Leah, the same age. I know Leah's mom, Daniela, somewhat well, as we had older kids in class together a few years back. Melody's told me several times that Leah is too loud, doesn't understand personal space, asks rude questions, etc. I've told her that they don't have to be friends, but to still be polite. Daniela later confided in me that Leah was on the spectrum, which I'd already suspected. Recently, the kids had a day off. Daniela asked if Melody wanted to go to the aquarium with her and Leah. I said, sure. When I hung up and told Melody, she got upset and said she didn't want to go. I said I already told Daniela she'd go and it'd be fun. I pointed out that Leah doesn't have a ton of friends, and maybe if more people took the time to know her, they'd realize she's nice. Melody grumbled but finally agreed. About a half hour after they left, I got a call from my sister-in-law. Turns out she'd taken her son to the aquarium and was leaving as Melody, Leah, and Daniela walked in. Melody instantly said she wanted to leave with her aunt. My sister-in-law didn't want to just take her. I was super embarrassed, feeling bad for Leah. I asked to speak to Melody, telling sister-in-law to take her aside and out of earshot. I told Melody she was being extremely rude. I asked her how poor Leah felt after she went with her and instantly wanted to leave. Melody kept saying she didn't want to be there and started whining. I finally told sister-in-law to bring her home. As rude as I found this, I realized it'd be even worse for Daniela and Leah to deal with my grumpy, whiny child. Sister-in-law dropped Melody off. I told my daughter she was very rude and it wouldn't have killed her to spend one afternoon doing something nice for someone. Melody said she didn't want to be Leah's friend and went to her room. I called Daniela to apologize. She was gracious, but did admit Leah cried, and they ended up leaving early because she wasn't having fun. She assured me that she hadn't paid yet for my daughter before this incident, so at least no money was wasted. I did Venmo her money for their passes, as I felt bad that they couldn't enjoy it due to Melody. When my husband found out, he flipped out on me, telling me I violated Melody's autonomy and that it was my fault all this happened. I felt this was an extreme overreaction, especially when he basically coddled Melody and took her to dinner, just them. A valuable lesson was missed yesterday. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. I had assumed that you'd be going too as a kind of mom play date, as it seems like you like the mother, in which case you're there to advocate for your daughter. You failed to do that and ignored her needs. Your daughter does not like this child. Rude invades personal space. Your child set a boundary, and you didn't enforce it. Next, you'll be saying that that boy that's mean to her actually has a crush on her. Don't force your child to be around people that cross boundaries with them. Exactly this. I thought both moms were going, but no. OP just accepted the invitation for her child without even asking her, knowing she's uncomfortable around this other girl. I feel bad for Leah's mom because she had no way of knowing that OP was forcing her daughter to go. I have friends on the spectrum. I fall into being neurodivergent, and no one needs a pity friend. Children are humans too. She has her own thoughts and feelings. She deserves a say in her life and who she spends her time with. Why would you push your daughter to do this? Why would you do that to your daughter? Why would you do that to the other girl? Do you think that girl only deserves friends who don't like her? Your daughter spends enough time with this girl to know she doesn't like her. Don't push it. Your husband is right. You bulldozed over your daughter's autonomy, and this scene is your fault. I'm at college in the U.S. as an international student. One girl I know at said college happens to be really into my country of origin, the culture, the music, the TV shows, etc., and wants to study abroad there. She asked me many questions about my country and sees me as the guy from X country with the associated stereotypes, which is annoying, but otherwise she's okay. One issue is that she's a bit on the chubby side by U.S. standards and is extremely sensitive about people pointing it out for shaming her. My country tends to have much skinnier people than the U.S., and the standards tend to be stringent. So if she's considered chubby in the U.S., you can imagine what people in my home country would think. Said country can be incredibly shallow, with physical appearances and blunt when talking about them, so it's almost guaranteed that she'll be seen as overweight, and comments will be made about it. I've seen it happen to girls way skinnier than her, who'd be considered stick thin in the U.S. So when she asked me about my country and what her experience would be like in said country, I explained the pros and the cons. One of the cons was that there's extreme weight watching, and it's considered perfectly socially acceptable to comment on and make jokes at the expense of people's weight. I said this because I wanted her to have this info before deciding to study abroad there, so she doesn't potentially put herself into an upsetting or traumatic experience. But she instead got offended and said I'm an idiot for implying she's fat. I replied that it's just standards are different, so even though she's not fat, she could be perceived that way because my country's standards are insane. She's still angry and walked away. Am I in the wrong here? I could have gone about this better, but I do think my intention was good. Not the idiot. You told her the truth. You didn't criticize her weight. You gave her the answer to her question. If you're talking about South Korea, you're correct. They even put pressure on the thin K-pop idols to go on diets, male and female. But it's her life, and she'll find pros and cons any place she goes as a foreigner. I live in Indonesia with my sister. The shopkeepers on our street would call my sister the beautiful one and me the fat one. I went to get a massage once, and the masseuse talked in Indonesian to the other masseuses about how fat I'd gotten since I started coming there while she was massaging me. I remember thinking, why did I bother to learn this language when I just get insulted in it? And I'm not even overweight. You did well to warn your friend. She sounds pretty annoying and even borderline racist, the way she treats you as a representative of your culture instead of just another human being. Would it be so bad if she didn't want to be close friends anymore? You were telling her the truth of the matter. If she can't handle this, she won't be able to handle a culture that values extreme thinness. It's not your fault that it didn't fit her narrative. My brother has a girlfriend with a really annoying habit. Whenever someone brings up any topic that involves something happening in the future, she always responds with some variation of, well, the world's going to end by then anyway. It's aggravating because it adds nothing of value to the actual topic of conversation. Whether the topic is career goals, financial planning, vacation ideas, or anything else, she always interjects with her apocalyptic predictions. Right now, my union's negotiating a raise for us, and I'm excited about it. I was telling my brother and sister about how excited I am and how I intend to put the money towards my retirement savings. Again, my brother's girlfriend interjected that none of us will live to see retirement, so it doesn't matter. I got annoyed and snapped at her, saying, "Hey, learn a new song. This one is played out." My brother's girlfriend was offended, said I was rude, and asked for an apology. I said that I disagreed, thought she was the rude one, and would like an apology myself. My brother told me to climb off my high horse and chill. My sister said she was also tired of the non-stop gloom and doom and would like a reprieve. My brother's girlfriend said, "I see how it is," and left with my brother. My brother said I was needlessly antagonistic. He said his girlfriend can't relate to topics like that because she has a non-traditional job, Etsy store. Still, she wants to have a meaningful contribution to the conversation. He said I was mean to her and should apologize. I don't think I should and don't want to, but was I the idiot? But wants to have a meaningful contribution to the conversation? How is the same glib Debbie Downer remark repeated repeatedly a meaningful contribution to the conversation? Not the idiot at all. Why bother making up with her? The world's going to end anyways. How are you needlessly antagonistic when she's negative about something you were excited about? She doesn't need to be able to relate to you to contribute to the conversation. My friend is a stay-at-home mom. I can't relate to that, but I contribute by asking questions or just commenting that I could never do that, and she's amazing. Both are uplifting because I know it's something she loves. She could have just said she was happy for you. No need to contribute negativity when someone's obviously excited. I wouldn't sweat it. She sounds like a drag. To me, it sounds like she's trying to undermine the conversation that focuses on the future plans of others because she secretly feels insecure about her own plans and the lack thereof. The remark makes much more sense in that context. If she reassures herself that the world is ending so her future's irrelevant, she doesn't have to compare her future to yours. To me, it comes across as a roundabout put-down. You did the right thing by putting a stop to it.